Remote Work Revolution by Caitlin Ducote, Macy Falk, Heather Mayone, and Grant Rabin. For the overview, we will start with the definition. Remote work is defined as working for a company or organization in a more flexible fashion that is outside of a traditional office setting. Some key drivers of remote work are technology, having an increase in technology that can interface across multiple locations, flexibility, there is improved work-life balance, schedule enhancement for optimal efficiency, and globalization, increased diversity and collaborations. There was a COVID-19 impact on remote work. Prior to 2020, 34.7 million people worked remotely in the U.S. Following 2020, 48.7 million people work remotely in the U.S. That is a 71% increase. Currently, 76% of global workers work remotely.
There are many benefits that come from working remote, including the increased flexibility that comes with it. For example, team members have more control over their schedules, which in turn leads to a healthy work-social life balance. Nobody wants to be stuck behind their laptop all day, crunching numbers, or stuck in a cubicle doing work. Being able to work from home and having all that work remote allows them to socialize with their loved ones when they get the chance. It also, in turns, allows them to pick their own schedules as long as it is in accordance with the company's rules. As long as they're meeting guidelines, they can work at their own pace and their own schedule. This, in turn, allows employees to be more productive in the time that they choose to work because they don't feel like they have to and instead want to. Studies have shown that these workers who are work from home and have their work remote are on average about 20% happier than people who are all in person. There are many benefits. Another interesting topic point when it comes to remote work is the cost analysis for people who work from home and those who go into the office. For example, according to a Harvard Union study, in-person workers will spend 2 times as much per month on work-related expenses than their at-home counterparts. This includes gas to get to work, extra groceries to pack for lunches, and a wardrobe attires like suits or company-appropriate clothing that at-home people don't have to worry about as much. On average, remote paying jobs also pay a little bit more at averaging 13% higher salary. And companies who have a larger at-home workforce save on utility costs, security costs, and cleaning costs. They don't have to worry about the at-home workers as much, and in turn can funnel that money back into the company.
Changes in access to the global talent pool. There is increased diversity and inclusion among employers and employees. Talent is not limited to geographical regions. Corporations are not limited to the employees of the area, and employees, conversely, are not limited to work options within their geographical area. This has the ability to have more access to specialized talents. Productivity in the workplace increases with diversity among the employees, and this allows for understanding of global markets. Increased diversity on a global level allows for companies to have a better insight to markets and regions where the employees live. This is helpful because they would not always work the markets in areas where their employees live, so it gives a better insight. Changes in access. Technology tools. The number of Zoom users in January 2020 was 50,000, and it rose to around 220,000 in January 2024. The number of Teams users went from 75 million in 2020 to 300 million in 2024. These are not the only telecommuting platforms that are used, but two of the most popular. The various workforce management software companies are Slack, Asana, and Trello. This allows for employees to be integrated with each other and work on projects simultaneously. There are also cloud-based storage companies, CRM software, such as Salesforce, and security software to maintain safety within the working environment. This graph shows the change of Zoom customers from 2020 to April 2024.
Employee engagement and productivity. It is difficult to maintain motivation and focus if you're not a strong independent worker. Monitoring remote work through shared documents and other monitoring systems is helpful. And there are many award systems that you can use for employee engagement for remote work. There's also flexibility that engages the team to work at their own pace. Establishing clear guidelines. Being remote can have you questioning your work-life balance. So there are some steps that we do advise to create boundaries, which would be step one, establish set working hours. Step two, define your work area. Step three, learn to say no so that you're not overpiling your workday. Step four, update your calendar often with availability. And step five, often check your email. Mentioning team culture, it can be really hard to be apart from your colleagues in a remote setting. Managers should feel comfortable delegating work to employees to promote a team effort and a sense of unison. Also, meeting frequently to check up on one another, review progress, and grow relationships with fellow team members is very helpful. And if a problem arises, team members should be willing to sit down and just work through it in order to avoid any conflict. For the brief analysis of a successful remote work implementation, our team chose GitLab. The background on GitLab, the company overview. GitLab is a web-based DevOps platform that enables software development teams to collaborate, manage repositories, and conduct continuous integration and deployment. With over 2,000 employees working from more than 65 countries, GitLab is one of the largest fully remote organizations globally. They've been remote from day one. They adopted a fully remote work model from its founding in 2011. This approach was a deliberate choice aligning with the company's mission to foster an open and global work environment. Key elements of their remote work model is they have transparency and open communication. They have an all remote handbook that is accessible by all employees. They also have an async first communication. So they utilize different tools to communicate and they minimize meetings. And they also have a very strong documentation culture. They have what is called living documents. And so anytime that a document is updated, it is updated in real time and you are able to access it in real time. Benefits for remote work at GitLab is the global talent pool and how they are able to have top talent, but also able to save on costs. And they have an incredible work-life balance because they do have the flexible schedule with the global talent. And so they are in a more results-oriented work environment rather than a set hours work environment. Challenges and solutions at GitLab's remote work model would be time zone differences. With employees spread across different time zones, coordinating meetings or real-time collaboration can be challenging. So GitLab addresses this by prioritizing an asynchronous communication and limiting the need for real-time interactions. And so one of their solutions, teams operate largely asynchronously to use clear documented communication and collaboration practices. When meetings are necessary, they are scheduled at times that can accommodate the majority of the team members or are recorded for a later viewing. Another challenge is employee onboarding and integration. Onboarding new employees into a fully remote company can be challenging without face-to-face interaction. So to overcome this, they have a comprehensive onboarding process that is documented step by step. New hires are paired with a buddy, as they call it, to help them acclimate and feel included in the company culture. And they actually call this the buddy system. And so new employees are paired with experienced team members who serve as mentors, providing guidance on the company's workflows and tools, as well as support for navigating their remote work environment. Feel free to pause to read more in detail of the summary of key points. Since we already reviewed, I'm just going to touch on the topics of cost savings, work-life balance, productivity and employee satisfaction, and challenges in boundary setting. Some of the future trends that you can read here and the evolving nature of remote work are going to be the hybrid work models and the structure of what those look like and technology's role in the hybrid work models. A focus on well-being and mental health and increasing global hiring and distributed teams. Trends continued are going to be a shift to results-oriented work and not as much about the hours, environmental impact, adapting workspaces, transforming from office spaces to hubs for collaboration, and legal and compliance considerations as the remote work becomes more widespread. There's going to be focus on data privacy and cybersecurity.